Hello, my friends. Unfortunately, I just found out I have to leave today again soon, and I'm sorry to do this. So I'm going to record the math lesson. If you have any questions, respond to this on Classroom or send me an email or something, and I will record responses for you. Sorry about that. Physics, same. I probably won't log on live. Just send in questions, and I will post answers. I should be able to Zoom this afternoon as necessary. So. Sorry about that. This is the way my life is right now, apparently. This was last day. If you have questions, let me know. I will post them. This is today. If you want to write this down and you don't want to hear me talking over it, let's look. It says read before copying. If you don't want to hear me talking over it, then pause it. But maybe listen to it first. So solving radical equations. As before, the root of 36, remember the hat is over this, but sometimes, I can't do it on my computer, so it's the whole thing here. The root of 36 is one solution, positive 6. That's the principal root. This changes once we deal with equations, once we start solving for unknowns. When we deal with a variable, we can't or don't assume a positive solution. So for example, if x squared equals 49, x must equal positive or negative 7, because we know 7 times 7 is 49, but the same thing, negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. Okay? Same with x squared equals 36. We know that 6 times 6 is 36, but also negative 6 times negative 6. That's why we say the answer is positive or negative. If you take away one thing from this page of notes, use plus or minus for all root solutions where possible. Solutions when you're solving for an unknown. Next page. The odd indexes only have one answer. If it's a positive number, so x cubed, you guys, this should say cube root in here. I forgot to do that, apparently. Wrong one. Doing wrong. There we go. So with the cube root, so I'm going to mute you for 1 sec because I got a phone call. So I can figure out how to do it sometime today. Give me a sec, you guys. Sorry. So. Sorry, couldn't pause. I guess you could hopefully fast forward or something. Where are we? Okay, so cube root of 27 is 3, because 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. But the cube root of negative 27, again, like the root sign goes right over top of the negative 27. And you think, well, there's a negative in there. That's okay when we have a odd index, okay? Odd indexes only have one answer. It can only be positive or it can only be negative. Because in this case, negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, that equals negative 27. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. When solutions are not rational, for example, they're not a perfect square or a perfect cube, we do the cool thing and either simplify or estimate. Textbook says use a calculator. No, we're not going to do that. Estimate. If it says to simplify, simplify. If it says to use the calculator, estimate. Your estimates should be within around 0.2 decimal place wise. Only estimate to 1 decimal place. The textbook with the calculator says 2 decimal places. Just go to 1. Examples on page 54. The assignment is on page 55 to 56. So I'm going to do some examples with you. That's on page 54. Okay, page 54. Where's page 54? Well, there's examples. Okay, so there's lots of examples. So page 54, that's a weird 5. Number 1A, use factoring to find the root of each of the following numbers. So the first one says x squared equals 144. Well, if we take the square root sign of both sides, so we take the root of x squared and the root of 144, the root of x squared is x, the root of 144 is 12, plus or minus, because negative 12 times negative 12, that equals positive 144. Positive 12 times positive 12 equals 144. So both are possible answers. All right. B, x squared minus 2. X squared minus 2 equals 79. We're going to add 2 to both sides. X squared equals 81. We take the root of both sides. X equals positive or negative 9. Can you dig this? C, 3a squared minus 1. 3a squared minus 1 equals 146. 3a squared equals, we're going to add 1 to both sides, 147. Going to divide both sides by 3. And just looking at this, I can't tell if this is divisible by 3. Like, is this even going to work? Remember that one divisibility rule? 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 1 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. It works. So we just got to figure out what that is. A squared equals 3 goes into 14. Think of it as 3 goes into 12. That 4 times. There's 2 remainder, 27. 3 goes into 27. 9 times. Now I know I don't want you guys using a calculator, and I know some of this stuff would take a bit of time. Very small chance you're going to get numbers this big to work with. We root both sides. This way we're going to start skipping some steps. A equals plus or minus 7. D, I know I'm rushing. I got to leave soon. I will help you online. R cubed minus 1 equals 26. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. R cubed equals 27. We're going to take the cube root of both sides. So these cancel, right? Cube root of 27. Remember, there's only one answer when it's an odd index. The cube root of 27 is 3, because 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So it's just positive. If you're scared of being misinterpreted, throw a plus in front. You don't need to, but it doesn't hurt. 3e, or sorry, 3e, 1e, t cubed plus 9 over 8 equals 1. Well, this one looks fun. So we got to get rid of that 9 over 8. So we're going to subtract that from both sides. T cubed equals 1 minus 9 over 8. We need a common denominator here. T cubed equals, so that's going to be 8 over 8, because that still equals 1. 8 over 8 minus 9 over 8. That equals negative 1 over 8. So t cubed equals negative 1 over 8. So now the cube root of t cubed equals the cube root of negative 1 over 8. It's going to be negative. T equals, the cube root of 1 is 1. Cube root of 8 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. And then we keep that negative. My preference is not to associate the negative with top or bottom, just keep it in the middle. Is that what the question had it as? Oh no, we made it negative when we moved it around. So anyways, it's the same thing. It really doesn't matter where it goes. I just think this kind of covers everything. Oh, weird. What was this? Backside of this, just because there's some ink, it pressed it in. Pressed hard. I remember my dad saying that as a kid. You pressed too hard. I didn't know it was a sin, Father. Question number 2. Use a calculator to find the values of the root to 2 decimal places. Hey, x squared equals 22. So we take the root of both sides. So x equals the root of 22. Well, we're estimating. 4 squared equals 16. 5 squared equals 25. 22 is in here, right? So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so our number is 22. It's only 2 away from 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 away from 16. So it's a little closer to the 5. So it's going to be 4.7, 4.8. You can do the squiggly lines to say around what it is. X equals 4.8 plus or minus. Plus or minus. And it looks like the textbook says 4.69, which would have been 4.7. So we're well within our kind of 0.2 range. B, x squared minus 1 equals 11. X squared equals 12. X equals the root of 12. 3 squared equals 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. See where I'm going with this? 4 squared equals 16. We need 12. It's 2 from the 3 and 3 from the 4. So it's just a little on the other side of 3.5. So I'm going to say 3.3. X is about plus or minus 3.3. What's the textbook say? 3.46. Okay, so I went a little bit low. The textbook would have rounded up to 3.5. I'm within 0.2. I'm going to jump to E because I got to get out of here, you guys. Man, I feel really bad about this. 2t cubed plus 1 equals negative 27. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. 2t cubed equals negative 28. T cubed equals negative 14. Right? We divide both sides by 2. Now we need the cube root of t cubed equals the cube root of negative 14. So now with cubes, 1 cubed is 1. I don't know why I do them so far away. I actually have no idea why I do that. It's probably a reason. 2 cubed equals 8. 3 cubed equals 27. So you can see 14 is in between these two, right? 14 is 6 away from 8 and 11 away from 27. 11, 13. So it's kind of like a third of the distance from 8 and 2/3 from 27. So being a third, it's around 0.3. So T is about negative 0.3. 0.3. 2.3. I just glanced over the answer. I'm like, what? So negative 2.3. And the answer in the textbook, 2.41. I hope that makes sense. Please post as many questions as you like, and I will get to them as soon as I can.